and welcome. It's another WordPress translation day. Yes, it is. We've now been going for 14 days. My goodness, how much translation does that mean? And you can still come and join us and make a difference because we're going to be doing lots of these translation events throughout the year. And I have a whole new panel joining us today. So I'm going to get them all to do a quick wave and then they can introduce themselves. So we have Nilo from Spain.
Hi, how are you?
We have Olga from Russia.
Hi, everyone.
We have Sabrina from the Ukraine.
That's me. Hello.
And we have Sergey also from Russia.
Hi, everyone.
And anyone who heard the dog bark, we have the dog as well, but we haven't asked her which country she's from. So this is a live recording. So as with most lives, anything can happen. So pets can appear, robots. We've lost electricity during some of these broadcasts and we've still kept going. So thank you for joining us. And remember that you can come and talk to us too about how you translate. So I'm going to go to Nilo first of all. Nilo, you have been translating for quite a while and and also have been inspiring people to do so, but you're also have these magic initials that go next to your name as a GTE. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into translating?
Well, I got into translating officially for the WordPress project because as a developer, I have done some translation in the past, but as everybody starts with WordPress, with Loco Translate, doing your own translation for installing themes that aren't already completely translated to your locale. But when I started attending to meetups and WordCamps, I get into the translation team, and I learned that it's quite better to just do the same thing, but in a way that your work can be used by many more people.
Thank you, Nilo. And you're based in Spain and have been also involved with lots of other events outside Spain. And that's you can guarantee you can see Nilo at various places.
Oh, I was going to say that this year in this in that aspect has been wonderful because for the unusual year, you want to go to a WordCamp outside your country, you have to prepare for the hotel, the tickets, the planning, the work. No, okay, today is WordCamp Philly, let's go to Philly. Today is Paris, let's go to Paris. Okay.
And lots of the WordCamps are put on lots of cultural information as well. I was speaking at Virginia Beach a couple of weeks ago, and they had a fantastic video at the beginning, and all about Virginia Beach, living there, the different languages as well. And it was just really good to do that and understand a little bit more. And at Philly, they had a whole section on bakery and bakery items. It was like, oh, this is interesting. This is nice. It's not missing out as much as we might be doing. So Olga, welcome to the session as well. And you joining us from the WordPress marketing team, but also you've been doing some translation for the Russian community.
You know, I'm like a translator, I'm pretty new, but I already liked it and enjoyed it and want to continue because it's really make a difference for people and for your community. I believe that you can only love what you can understand. And for people who are not very comfortable with English, it can provide very lousy experience, very unsatisfied. And and they are they see no difference between plugin, theme, and core. So if some parts are untranslated, they will be feeling this unsatisfaction about all WordPress system. So like a developer, I want to provide for my clients full translation and make this all thing look good and make them happy and enjoy the work with WordPress.
Seems a very good reason to be involved with translation. Thank you, Olga. Sabrina, you had a whole event. I can't believe it was a week ago.
Yeah, I can
where-
believe it.
What happened? Where has that gone? So you were one of our closing events last week, and we thought, you know, that's it. WordPress Translation Week draws to a close. We did our finale, and then we had lots of people going, I want to translate. I missed this. I want to do that this week. And we had people putting on events. But most importantly, because there have been people who've been affected by COVID and had planned to do events and weren't able to because of that, because their family members, we thought it was really important to extend the week and to make sure that they were included. And that was nice because Sabrina was one of those people who was really keen to support that. And Sabrina, you put on an event locally, and in fact we came in and helped and opened that with you. But how many times have you done that kind of event before?
0. It
Wow,
was
your
our
first event.
event like this ever. Yeah, thank you very much for coming, for opening remarks, for joining us. I really appreciate it. And yeah, the funny thing is that so I am from Ukraine, and I'm co-organizer from WordPress Kyiv community. But as all this COVID thing started, it's not that separated as before, you know, it's not like WordPress Kyiv community anymore, but WordPress Ukraine, and we have people joining from other countries as well. So yeah, but in Ukraine, we never had a contributor day before. We used to, yeah, we had only 2 WordCamps before that, one last year and another one like 4 years ago, I think. And we never had a contributor day, and we never had like even small events for contribution and translation as well, events as well. So it was the whole brand new thing for us to organize and to participate in, and it was fun. I don't know, it was like very unusual experience for guys in our community, you know, because we have like pretty much usual format for our meetups. Someone will come, someone will talk about development, about coding and stuff, and that's it. And it was fun.
Well, congratulations. And I'm so glad that it was one of your first, and hopefully you'll do them again. And we've had lots of feedback from communities who want to do a regular cycle, but to come together as a global community more regularly. And we're looking at doing some kind of half-yearly event where people can just do a translation event that is during that month.
Mm-hmm.
So because not all meetups happen in the same week. So originally we thought we would do a translation week that occurred every quarter, but it meant that when we tried to test it out, it didn't work. So we're now going to see if a month designation, where if you've got an event happening twice a year in that month, stick it in that month, and let's have as many people together as possible. But of course, we need people to help organize that because it's a very big commitment. And Olga has been fantastic, as has Mahir and Larissa, who have worked incredibly hard alongside to try and get this event running. So if any of you who are on this panel, anyone listening, or any of the earlier panels who would like to be involved with getting and helping put that together, then we can make it happen. But like most things, we need to make sure that we keep everyone's happy, as Olga says, and we don't make it too hard for anybody. So Sabrina, that's brilliant that it was your first event, and I hope it's one of many.
Yeah, me too.
And that's great. Hello, Sergey.
Hi.
Now, anybody who's watching this who is used to the WordPress community might normally associate Sergey with Core, but I'm very pleased to report that Sergey is involved in multiple areas of WordPress. And I think we're trying to poach him for the marketing team. I distinctly heard that was the case. And if Olga has anything to do with it, I'm sure she will make that happen. So and we've already got Sabrina, so you know and we're working on Nilo, so it's gonna be an all marketing team. Sergey, you've been involved in translation for quite a long time. What would be really interesting is you just share about the translation of the releases, of the WordPress releases, and why actually having those is so important.
Yes, so I think I started translating WordPress in 2007. It was also one of the earliest releases. I just it's how I started contributing to WordPress in the first place. I've just noticed some typos here and there in the interface and thought I can correct this. And we didn't even have WordPress or the local different local sites of WordPress back then. They were just starting. So we've created the Russian version of the WordPress.org website and started working on the translation. It was finished soon. And then I've worked on every next release for a few years, but we had some trouble getting new contributors. So we also we had a Russian support forums, which was also a great way to contribute and also to recruit some new contributors, because there was some overlap between people answering support questions and people working on translations. And so after a few years, we had a great team of support contributors and also of translation contributors who did such a great work that I've promoted them to general translation editors to work with me on WordPress core and plugins and themes and everything. And now I think last time I looked at it, we had a few hundred of project translation editors and more than 2,000 of translation contributors in general. I think it's important to have each upcoming WordPress release fully translated into Russian, because it just have better user experience for everyone. You don't get such a great experience when some things are missing or half translated or just not as good as they could be. So we'll try to, I think we're one of the first locales that ends up translating each WordPress release to 100%. And that's really an awesome effort. I'm really happy that I don't have to do this alone anymore. We have a great team of translators to whom I'm really grateful for their work. We have also some people who do translations and live streaming their work on translating some plugins. Last week, when as part of the translation, WordPress translation day, we worked on translating the Google Web Stories plugin, and we were live streaming the event for a few hours. It was also a great way to onboard some new people how translation work, and I think it was awesome.
Thank you, Sergey. And it's a really good result of how well the Russian community are doing. But I think one of the great things about being on the Polyglots team, and I know that Nilo will agree with me, is that it doesn't have to be complete translation and you can work towards that. And I think, Sergey, the Russian locale is a good example of that, where you've grown the community, and therefore through growing the community, you've had a lot more people to translate, and you've got some amazing results from that. And is that the same, Nilo, with the Spanish community? Did you have to grow it to get to the way you are now? Because their translation figures for Spain are amazing, with Spanish are amazing.
There's a little trick about the Spanish translation community is that in every single WordCamp, we do always as a default, we do a translation day. And when you get all the people from a WordCamp, when half of the people are newbies who haven't been ever to a WordCamp, and they say, okay, now's your time to start contributing to the WordPress project. And they terrify and say, oh, what can I do? And one of the first teams that we use to get everybody on board is the translation team, because it's a team where you have to pass all the steps to get into the community. You have to get your WordPress.org account. You have to get into Slack. You have to understand how the teams work. But also is the team where there is the easiest to get a badge and to start contributing, because you can, okay, we have these projects that need help. You can help on that. Okay, there's your contribution. I approve it. Now you are part of the WordPress team. Oh, and and once they have been there, some people stay on the translating community. At least they know how to translate and they can contribute on when they see a mistake. We keep some people, but almost everybody that has been to a WordCamp in Spain has been on the translating team.
That is such a good tip. We're going to have to include that in the FAQs, Olga. And of course, you mentioned the onboarding and getting a make.wordpress.org account. And Olga has been helping coordinate some of the videos that we've been doing. So we kept hearing how difficult it was to do that very basic step, which isn't actually very basic to do, of getting a make.wordpress.org account and getting a Slack account. And I did 18 months of research with every single contributor event that took place, and finding out some of the barriers that were happening. And every time we kept hearing that, and when I ran contributor events as well, it was, okay, we're spending all our time just setting this up or setting it up again for returners because they can't remember how to do it. So at one of our coffee breaks, we were talking about this and we said, there's got to be a better way of doing this. And Mark Smallman and myself were like drawing flowcharts and things as you know, developers tend to have a habit of doing, and going, we can do this. We'll just make a video. We'll just do a step-by-step video to try and make that a bit easier and see if we can get the downtime so that people don't have to try and learn on a contributor event where they then can't do anything else because they spend all their time joining Slack or joining make.wordpress.org and they're not knowing how to get any further. So the idea was born, and for WordCamp Europe, we got a nice big number ready in a couple of weeks, but now we've got about 20. And our latest one, I will let Olga and Sabrina tell us all about it and how much fun they had making that video. So over to you, yes. Sabrina and Olga.
It was one of our latest.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're so excited.
Please carry on.
Okay, actually, it was very nice to work with Sabrina. We have easy steps to follow, and if another person is these steps, it's pretty simple to make the translation and captions to video we already have and adjust them to each other. So I really enjoyed to work with Sabrina, and we now have Ukrainian version, and also we have Russian version. We have French version. It will be soon published, and we have Bulgarian version as well, Spanish version in 2 different locales, yeah. English, of course, in 2, and much more.
We have, they're coming in thick and fast. I think we've got Persian and Turkish. Whether I think one of them's definitely on the site.
Turkish is already published, and Persian is about to.
And the benefit is that you can practice and get to know your locale as well, because what we say to everybody who is getting involved, because it needs 3 types of people in terms of skill sets. It needs someone who can present and can record things, and so in a nice clear voice that can be easily understood. We need somebody who can translate the English into the language that's going to be the captions into the language that's going to be translated into. We need them to then coordinate with their locale, their GTE, General Translation Editors, to just check that the meaning is right and it makes sense. And then the person who's going to record it gets to voice over it, and then you can have somebody who can synchronize it. It's much better if the person synchronizing the video actually speaks the same language, because it's quite hard to join it together otherwise. And what a great way of getting to know someone in your community than working on something like this. And actually, you might find somebody who would be ideal to work and help represent your locale in the marketing team by doing so. We were really lucky that in one of our first, we had a whole lot of new contributors. One of them, Nilo, picked up during our WordCamp Europe after party, and made a comment to this new, not a new WordPress person, had been in the community a while, and said, so how do you contribute? And it just got this person thinking. So later on, Nilo was talking in Spanish, and suddenly this new contributor spoke back in Spanish. Now, people think I'm always recruiting. Nilo's even faster, because within 15 seconds, he had him signed up to doing translating for Spanish. We had him signed up for marketing. And thanks to Nilo's encouragement, he recorded a Spanish version of the video. And Nilo and the team checked the translation, encouraged him to come back and translate again. But even more so, Nilo subsequently is offered to do some of our other translation and audio for some of our other onboarding videos. So you will be hearing Nilo on some of our tools that we use in the WordPress community, and he's going to be doing the voice for those. So it just shows that it doesn't matter how you come into the community, how long you be in the community, you might find a new way of getting involved with other people and a new way of actually developing a new skill. And I'm just gonna get Nilo to just, because he's really good at helping people think about why they should contribute. So Nilo, why don't you tell everybody who's listening, what should they say to people about getting involved?
Wow, that's a really involved question. Okay, I remember one comic from, I think it's one from I don't know, Randall Munroe, some freak geek comic editor, that went with 2 people arguing about how bad was a project, and everybody should be fired, and everything is horrible, and everything. Okay, what have you done? How gives you the right to criticize something if you haven't ever take your time to go to the team and say, hey, you can fix that? So it's really easy to say, okay, WordPress is antiquated. It must be some sort of things that should be into the core. Well, you should know at least how the core team works, how the translation works. And once you get there, you can realize that it's not too hard to get into that. I made my first contribution to the core last month or 2 months ago for WordPress 5.5, and it was a critical fix, in which I think I got Sergey involved, but also I got everybody in that, because it was a fix that implied localization, because it was the problem with that when you upload a file to WordPress, the accents doesn't got replaces on the file name. So if you upload an image with the name of, in Spanish, sin título, which has an accent on the Y, it breaks many backups, it breaks the synchronizing of some plugins, and it was just a matter of including one line into the upload process. For that's another story, but people didn't realize that that was a problem, because for many locals that don't use accents, it's not a problem. So that went go on and on and on. But the people always say, okay, WordPress is terrible because WordPress breaks the file names. And nobody got into understanding how the core was, how could you could propose that. But that can be extended to everything in WordPress, about translation, marketing, video. One of the wonderful things of WordPress that is, once somebody gets you in, it's really easy to switch themes. It's really easy to understand how everything works. And there are virtually no barriers on once you understand how everything works.
Isn't he brilliant? And that's, you know, you can come and help and you can get involved. And just to show how easy it is to do these onboarding videos, Sabrina, I for the fact that you had your first event as well, and you managed to do this in just breakneck speed. How did you find doing the voiceover and the translation for the onboarding videos?
It wasn't too hard. It's just 5 minutes video. You just watch it, you translate it, and you just read the text. And then Olga helped me a lot with synchronizing stuff. It wasn't really hard. So I don't know. I think like almost anyone can do that if they have desire to do this, and also in tight deadlines. So I just hit the button and record it, and that's it.
Now, after hearing that, yeah, I think it's worth a try. So thank you, and I think that's so nice for you both to have shared that. I've got another question for you while you're there, Sabrina. Sabrina's one of our subtitling champions and has been subtitling her videos that we've been putting out, and some interviews that we've done with her before, and encouraging other people to do it. So Sabrina, do you want to explain why it's so helpful to have them subtitled?
That's really easy. Just like Olga mentioned before, why would you translate something? Because you are looking at the website and something is not right there. It just looks ugly because it's not in the same language that the other parts of the website. And if you don't speak English very well, or you can read without any effort, but you cannot understand English pretty well while listening to it, you can like sympathize other people who are in the same situation, you know. And once you are able to do something to contribute to those people learning, just like you were learning a while before, it's easy to do. And for instance, if you find some video like super useful, very interesting, or you know, like very timely to watch for your community, for example, it's really easy to start subtitling it in your language, or even in English. For example, a video is in English, right? And you can share the link afterwards, after you subtitle. You can share a link in your community, and for people who speak English but not very well, it will be easier to understand with captions, and you then can discuss it on your meetup or something like this new approach or this new methods of doing things, and it brings community together as well.
You can see why she's one of our champions for subtitling. Be inspired by all of these lovely people who have joined us today, because they're all doing very different things. And I'm going to go back to Neil if he's got his hand up.
Sorry,
We can't.
just one thing about subtitling, because I think there's needed a really hard call out to the community, because subtitling is really, really, really hard for people that aren't native from that language. Even if it's English, for me, it's really hard to subtitle English, but it's really, really, really easy for me to translate that subtitling. So if anybody does the subtitling from the video in English, it's really easy to download the translation file and translate it to every language. So if anybody that can subtitle a video, it's anybody that understands that video, learn how to subtitle with the polyglots. For us, it's very easy to download that file and translate to every language.
It's a great incentive. We have lots of videos available about why it's important to subtitle. We also have talks available that can be shared at meetups and WordCamps as well. And in fact, I spoke about it last week at Accessibility Day. So do find out how you can do that. And also we have a marketing video campaign which is highlighting continuously the videos on WordPress TV that will help you do various things with WordPress and that are promoting community. So we're prioritizing from those videos ones that are in urgent need of subtitling, not just for people who want to translate it, but also for people from an accessibility perspective, from a disability perspective. So come and help us. It is, and it does make a difference. So that's another reason to get involved. Sergey, did you want to add something there?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I enjoyed your talk on the WordPress accessibility day about subtitles. It's like you said, you simply do not have a finished video product if it doesn't include subtitles. So it's really important, not only for accessibility, but also for translations and just for people to better understand the video. Yeah.
Thank you. And we will be subtitling all of these videos before they go on WordPress TV. Because these are all live, they are going onto our YouTube channel as part of the celebration fortnight, as it now is. And we will be subtitling them in the background and then repackaging them and with clips from all of the events that have taken place. So if you've got clips from the Ukraine, we would love to include them, and from Russia. We've had quite a lot of people who have been translating in Spanish as well. During the last week, we've had quite a few people just drop in a line. And on our next interviews today, we've got the Venezuelan community who have been translating. So we will be subtitling these. We would love people to come and help do that. So if you would like to come and ask on the Make WordPress Marketing Slack channel or in the Polyglots-events channel, and we'll put you in touch with somebody who can help. And we were producing a lot more videos. I'm hoping while I've got Nilo and Sabrina on the line that I can persuade them to do some of the voiceovers that we've got coming up as well. And if you think that you've got a voice for voiceover and it could be a way that you contribute, let us know. There's always a way to contribute. And on that note, I'm going to say farewell to our lovely guests and thank them for being here, and hoping that they will join us again for our regular highlights of what it's like to be a translator. So thank you
very much.
It
was a pleasure to be here and to see you all.
It's full of great insights.
Thank you, Sergey, and thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you very much.